Alrighty, so it is time to update our sort of a TUR list here. You guys know I have fun with this, updating our tier list when we start to get major releases. And today we are going to be focusing on Extreme Z Awakened TURs and Dokkan Fest TURs. We are going to be leaving Super Easy A's off, as I do believe they are just kind of in a separate sort of realm on their own, and I think it would just be more fun to do a dedicated video for Super Easy A's in specific, because they have the redstone pickup, and it allows you guys to sort of, basically you're going to pick up with your redstones on that tier list. I think that could be a very helpful video for you guys, just for you to have a separate understanding of how I feel individually about the Super Easy A's, because it's easier to, or it's harder to get into individual arguments and stuff like that when I'm just trying to tell you guys who to get with your redstone. But if you want to hear like a more in-depth breakdown and understand a little bit more about what I'm feeling about the characters individually from unit to unit, I think that that video would do pretty well, or not do pretty well, excuse me, but like would be very helpful for you in terms of how you guys would be able to see what I'm thinking of these characters at the time. So like I said, this video is going to be focused on Dokkan Fest TURs and Easy A's. Sorry about this tier list. I don't know what's going on with the Golden Week Piccolo, Cell, and Gohan and Goku right here, but I'm sure you guys can understand who they are in the video just fine, so there is no need to worry about it. So you guys can see we're going to be kind of doing like a borderline top 10. We're going to be ranking them from Z to S to A. A means they're very good, right? Usable across a lot of different content. S means they're great, right? And Z means they are the best of the best. So Z, we're probably going to leave to about 2 or 3 characters, right? S is going to mostly be the bulk of this video. And then A is going to be where just some characters I think at least deserve a shout are going to go. So with all that being said, I know it's a bit of a long intro. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first and foremost, we have our boy Lord Slug. I think A is a good spot for him. I like his spot on the Demonic Power team, right? Works very well with other characters. We have characters from Demonic Power on this team. We have characters like Aunt Fat Boo, we got Glorio, we got Buhan, right? Just a whole bunch of good slew of characters that are going to fit on his teams very well. I think he can have an impressive sort of start to your run with his intro buff going and all of that fun stuff, having good damage reduction with that domain active and stuff like that, on top of the other damage reduction that he's going to be getting in his passive. Just a very fun character for the Demonic Power team, and the Demonic Power team is still a very good team. I don't think I would put it in the top 1 or the top 2 area just because of just how crazy like Pure Saiyans is right now, and Earth Protecting Heroes and all of that fun stuff. Fused Fighters, but still a very good team. Now, just going to move on, right? I don't want to spend too much time here. I don't want this to end up being like a 35-minute video. This is just not my style, right? But next up, I have Buhan. So Buhan is also going to be finding himself in the A range. I think that this is a phenomenal character, right? I really like his the way he gets his intro buff as well, or not his intro buff, excuse me, his domain active with the power absorption around. This character is extremely defensive, gets orb changing, doing 4 supers if you get the maximum amount of orbs that you need, has the potential to stun in areas that you can stun. You think about stuff like phase 1 of Battle Hard of Formidable Foes. A lot of those phase 1s of those fights can be stunned. You can debuff the enemy, and this is where you're really going to get some value out of that Boo domain, because it's going to be resetting from fight to fight. Just looking at how he links up with characters like Kid Buu, Super Easy A Buhan when he's in his domain, just a very helpful character that's providing support via his domain, has defensive capability, has stacking capabilities, has the guard. Offensively, I think he leaves a bit to be desired, but that domain and the defensive value that you're going to get from that, I definitely think is worth noting. Very solid character, right? I wouldn't quite put him in the S tier, but he is still very, very good, right? Don't want to give any disrespect to him, and it's just it's unfortunate that he didn't stay in like the Z or the S range, but that is sort of just how power creep moves along in Dokkan these days. So next up, just going to continue to move along the A tier here. We have our good friend Kaioken Blue Goku. Now, this is definitely one of the more disappointing things from this list. I think there are situations where this Kaioken Blue Goku could look very good, but it's going to be the same case here with these two as well, right? Where you're sort of stuck in that restrictive team building mode where you have to consider specific things in order to get the maximum buffs with them. It can be a bit frustrating at times, but overall, I still do think he is a solid character. Don't really have too much to be... I have actually, considering when he came out, there's a lot to be upset about, but we're just talking the grand scheme of things. Definitely think he should have been better, right? The fact that the brand new release in this game for Golden Week for a major celebration is being done in A tier, that's just a sign of a failed release, right? The goal of a new release should be that they are up here, right? Like, it should be like this. Like, all things considered, this is how it should look. And the fact that, you know, like, I could leave him up here if I wanted to, but we'll talk about it later. He I don't think he has I don't think he's bringing enough, right? You could definitely say this character was fumbled. We did a whole video talking about this yesterday, but I think his leader skill is okay. I don't like his restrictive team building, and the same thing could be said here for Buhan and Slug, right? You have to limit your team in order to run them at their maximum efficiency. So that is sort of where I am right now with that. But overall, really don't have a problem, like a major problem. It's not to the point where he's unusable. I definitely think he just could have been better. And the fact that I'm talking about him with releases from late 2024, when we are now in the 5th month of 2025, is just a problem, right? You came out basically in May 2025, and I'm talking about you next to late 2024 releases. Just not good enough, unfortunately. But sometimes these things happen. It's just the natural cycle for these gacha games. Just these things are going to happen. So can't really be too upset about it. Just got to move on, keep going with your day, and all of that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and move up to the S tier. Now, the next tier I want to talk about are the 2024 Golden Week characters. I'm a big fan of both of these units. You guys know how I feel about them. With Goku and Fat Boo specifically in the shorter content, really just kind of excelling in that role where you have, you know, a little bit less room for error because of just the lack of ability to stack characters, and the damage reduction that Goku is bringing to the table, especially in battle-hardened formidable foes. Having that damage reduction early on is just going to be very important to your success later on in fights. And defensively, he still does hold it down, even when you do kind of rotate him out of slot 1 after, like, you know, this how like it's like the 5 or 7 turns have passed. You still do potentially have enough value at him in slot 2 or slot 3. Just right away, that 90% damage reduction with the guard is really just going to make him tough to get through, especially turn 1 of stuff like battle-hardened formidable foes. Now, both of these characters here, this Boo can look good in long events because of his stacking capabilities, but really, I think short-form content is where you're going to get the most out of this character if you run him like off leader skill. And he potentially, or is just essentially set up to be like in slot 3, you intentionally lose with him, right? And you get the revive, and then the next time you see him, you have a free Ghost Usher, right? We all understand that tech. Very, very, very overpowered, combined with like AGL Gogeta with the Goku portion having a Ghost Usher. There's just a lot of shenanigans you can pull with this character, and he's just going to look very good. So I can't put him in Z tier because he doesn't just excel everywhere, but he is a very, very, very good character, right? Really don't have much to complain about with him whatsoever. Next up on the spot here, we have Goku from Golden Week. Now, I definitely believe Vegeta is better. I think Vegeta just has, like, really, I think Vegeta might be like a contender for Z. I'm kind of thinking about how I want to place him as I'm going through this list here. But looking at this Goku, just a lot of high offensive and defensive capabilities with the Rainbow Orb changing the value he is bringing to teams like I mixed up GT Heroes and Giant 8 Power. So like Giant 8 Power, right? Definitely a team that's going to be getting buffs soon. Super Saiyans, Goku's family, Pure Saiyans, all of those fun teams. He is just going to kind of be like a plug-and-play character, and the same thing could be said for our boy Vegeta as well. So that is sort of the bar that I'm looking at Vegeta through here. Really, really like the character overall. Don't really have too much negative to say about him. If you want, I think, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, yeah, I think he's a little better than Buhan and Slug. Yeah. I'm going to go with it. Yeah, okay. I do like that a little better. I think that S tier would definitely be the spot for him. And maybe with you, because of the lack of stacking, maybe we'd want to do something like this. But no, I think this is fine. I'm kind of thinking about this on the fly here as I'm doing this again. It's like, do I like this here? Yeah, I do. Okay, so moving along with our S tier, we're going to move on to Exchange Goku Gohan and Cell. I think both of these characters are very, very good. Have had success using both of them in different forms of content. Not too much to talk about with them, right? Goku still has a bit of a frustrating mechanic with his dodging and stuff like that. But overall, solid link sets for both of these characters. They work well on their teams. They're very plug and play. You use Goku where you need him. You use Gohan where you need him. You use Cell where you need him. Artificial life forms, power absorption, all of that fun stuff. Buhan and Cell are a very kind of like fun combination. I got a lot of experience using this Cell when I was doing Extreme Z battles to catch up to like 77 on some of them. This is kind of just a side tangent, but I was using I had to use like power absorption for like 7 in a row, or like 3 in a row. It felt like it was just like super easy. Buhan just goes crazy. So These guys are definitely both S tier. I think that they are a little better than Buhan and Slug. Next is going to be Goku. Now, I am a big fan of this Goku. I like how hard he is to hit at times. I like the support he provides. You guys know how I feel about characters. It's like, you know, if they're dodge or die, I'm a UI Goku person. So it fits the style of play that I like, where it's like sometimes you're going to get caught, but the support that this guy's providing, the defensive capabilities that he has, the dodging that he's bringing to the table, just an overall solid character for sure. I'm a big fan of what he is doing. Now, we have some fun picks right here. We are getting close to the Z tier, ladies and gentlemen. I believe the way I'm going to do it is we are going to set up 3 for the Z tier. So the next character I'm going to talk about is Cell. I really like Cell. It definitely could have been a little bit better, but his domain, very easy to get access to. Tournament participants is a real good team, right? Just a lot of good stuff. And tournament participants only got better through this celebration, right? With like characters like Hit and stuff like that. More about Hit in a little bit. That rhymed. Should have been a rapper. But just overall, really like what this Cell's bringing to the table. Definitely think he's like this. It's the same thing with Kaioken Blue Goku, where I definitely think he could have been better. And keep in mind, guys, these are not ranked. So if you want me to kind of like, for the screenshots, or for the people that scroll to the end, let me kind of work this around here. We'll do something like this. We'll do something like that. Yeah. Something like that. You always got to make sure, like, if someone at first glance, they can't just be like, oh my God, this is horrible. There we go. Something like this. I don't usually rank my tiers, guys. That's unless stated otherwise, you guys know how I operate. But Cell, pretty good, right? I think you guys understand where he's at this point. Definitely can look impressive. Should have been a little better, I think, considering he was a post-10th anniversary release, but that is just how things go around here. So, moving along, I really like this Vegeta. I'd probably put him like right here. Defensively, just holds it down really well, especially when you have somebody like Super Saiyan 4 Goku out. You have that extra damage reduction. He's just really tough to get through, especially when you get a bunch of Rainbow Orbs and stuff like that. Very big fan of this character. Rainbow Orb changing is just such a valuable mechanic to a team when you can make Ki easier for you. It's just really good that we have it that way. So, next up, we got Pikkon, we got Janemba. We knew these EZAs were going to be very good. Janemba holds it down with the stacking and stuff like that. Pikkon has access to a Ghost Usher and Evasion. Very, very overpowered mechanics. You guys know how we feel about those these days. Definitely high S tier, borderline Z, but I like to keep the Z tier small. And so the rest of the characters you are seeing on this list are going to go into the Z tier. So it is going to look something like this. Now, when it comes to 1, 2, and 3, you could argue Kid Goku, you could argue Hit. Both are phenomenal for Festival of Battles. And they're both going to look very good, right? Had to kind of hit the reset button there. Had a notification go off on my phone. But with these, looking at these in specific, right, with Festival of Battles, no, some people, I think, like for me to consider it when I'm evaluating characters, and then there are other people who don't. And I understand that mindset, right, where it's like, I don't think that most people have time to sort of grind that event and really get like a sample size, but stacking is just helpful, right? When we talk about like what is the most difficult fight in the game, that is what we were talking about. And it's like the same thing could be said about Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, where you get 8 items. But again, these are the most difficult fights in the game. It's just what do I have to consider them with? And we are evaluating performance based on when you don't have supplemental help giving you buffs from this way, buffs that way. It's just a helpful sort of thing that you're working with here. So when we are looking at Hit and Goku here, especially Hit and Goku, you just have 2 characters that are very self-sustaining and long content. They have their short event kind of helpful qualities, right? Especially with Goku with the guaranteed dodge proc. It's just these things are going to work out very well for you. When it comes to Glorio, we have his support, the way that he just makes the team work. Despite not being a 250% leader, his stats basically make up for that. His support basically makes up for that in terms of offense and defense. A little bit less HP on his team, but the defensive stats, again, are high enough to the point where you can kind of work around that. And his leader skill is just insane. Accelerated Battle, Demonic Power, both just very, very good teams. I think Glorio, for a very long time, was just easily number 1, right? And we're finally starting to see cracks in that, right? Where we have Hit, who's very good. I like Hit probably a little bit better than Kid Goku, just based on like character biases, right? Kid Goku's obviously the OG. Without Kid Goku, we don't have any of this. But just a fan of Hit, right? Kind of just, I don't even think character biases is the reason that I have him over him. I just think that overall, I like what we've seen from both. Again, it's the fact that both of them can stack very well, and I think Hit is just a little bit better early on compared to Kid Goku, but again, Kid Goku is extremely impressive. It's a tough call, right? If you wanted to do this, I think you could. Really, it's a 1A, 1B situation. I don't really have any issues with something like that. So here you guys go. My top 10 TUR sort of tier list right now. Again, there's a lot of characters that could be considered for here. It's just kind of a tough spot. When it comes to honorable mentions, we have characters like Physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku, stuff like that, right? Tech Manja Vegeta in Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the Super Easy A's and all of that fun stuff. But this is what I'm going to keep it to for now. If I missed anything, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, and I'm more than willing to hear it, right? I'm always about positivity with these things. No reason to be negative and screaming at each other over something so silly. So just a point of discussion, kind of a reflection of characters that maybe you should be targeting when you're summoning and stuff like that. All of those fun things. So if you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to leave a like before you go. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all in the next one.